What if one of the most recognized symbols in the world, the cross, was not just a religious emblem, but an ancient code that has traveled across cultures, whispering truths about the cosmos, the human spirit, and the very structure of existence? The cross is everywhere. We see it atop churches, carved into sacred stones, etched on cave walls, and even hidden within the architecture of forgotten civilizations. Long before it was linked to Christianity, the cross appeared in Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and the Americas. It emerges again and again as if humanity was being reminded of a forgotten key, a universal pattern of balance and transformation. But why? Why would so many civilizations, separated by oceans and centuries, carve the same symbol into their temples, their amulets, and their holy texts? Was it coincidence? Or was it the imprint of a primordial truth that transcends culture and time? The cross is not merely two lines intersecting. It is the union of opposites, heaven and earth, life and death, the visible and the invisible. It is the meeting point of energy currents, the still point where chaos becomes order. To those initiated in ancient mysteries, the cross was never a mere decoration. It was a spiritual diagram, a cosmic compass pointing toward inner awakening. In this video, we will uncover the hidden meaning of the cross across cultures. We will journey from the sacred geometry of Egypt to the solar symbols of the Americas, from the Taoist understanding of polarity to the esoteric Christian mysteries. Along the way, we will see how the cross is not a symbol of suffering alone, but of transcendence, an invitation to align with the eternal forces of the universe. Prepare yourself. What you are about to discover may change the way you look at the world's most familiar symbol forever. To understand the hidden meaning of the cross, we must first journey backward in time, far beyond the crucifix, beyond medieval cathedrals, even beyond the first civilizations we are taught in school. The cross predates them all. It is one of humanity's oldest spiritual symbols, etched into rock and memory as if humanity instinctively knew its significance. Archaeologists have discovered cross-like carvings dating back over 10,000 years. In prehistoric caves, simple intersecting lines appear beside animals, stars, and spirals. To the untrained eye, they may look like random scratches, but to the ancient mind, they represented the convergence of realms, the earthly plane crossing with the divine axis. In Egypt, the cross evolved into one of the most recognizable symbols of eternity, the Ankh. With its looped crown, the Ankh was more than an artistic flourish. It symbolized the union of masculine and feminine principles, the breath of life, and the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Pharaohs carried it as a key to immortality. Priests used it in rituals to connect with higher worlds. In Mesopotamia, the cross appeared as the dinger, a star-like cross signifying divinity itself. It was inscribed in cuneiform tablets whenever gods were mentioned, as though the cross was shorthand for divine presence. The four arms represented the cardinal directions and the four winds, an early recognition that the cross maps not only the heavens, but also earthly orientation. Traveling eastward, we find similar patterns in the Indus Valley. The swastika, misused and corrupted in modern history, was originally a sacred cross in motion. It symbolized the eternal cycles of creation and destruction, the dance of time itself. This moving cross was not static, it pulsed with energy, reminding initiates that the universe is alive and ever-changing.
Among Native American traditions, the cross appeared as the medicine wheel. 4 directions, 4 elements, 4 seasons. Each arm represented a pathway of spiritual and physical balance. Standing at the center meant standing at the heart of existence, where all forces meet. Philosophically, the cross also represents polarity: east and west, north and south, light and darkness, spirit and matter. The ancients saw that existence itself is dual, and the cross is the bridge that reconciles opposites. In Taoist philosophy, this is mirrored in the dance of yin and yang, complementary forces intersecting in harmony. Yet the most transformative interpretation of the cross came in the esoteric schools of antiquity, and later within Christianity's mystical traditions. To the Gnostics, the cross was not just an instrument of suffering, but a cosmic diagram. The vertical axis symbolized the descent of spirit into matter, while the horizontal line represented the material world and its struggles. At the intersection lies the human being, caught between heaven and earth, yet capable of uniting both. Thus, across cultures and epochs, the cross was never merely a shape. It was a mirror of existence, a spiritual map, a key to unlocking both the mysteries of the cosmos and the mysteries within ourselves.
The cross, at first glance, is deceptively simple, 2 lines intersecting. Yet simplicity often hides the greatest mysteries. The ancients believed that truth was hidden in plain sight, veiled behind symbols so universal that only the awakened mind would recognize them. The cross is one such symbol, a key to understanding both the outer cosmos and the inner self. Let us begin with its most basic form, the vertical line and the horizontal line. The vertical line represents the cosmic axis, the connection between heaven and earth, spirit and matter. It is the axis mundi, the world axis, revered by shamans, priests, and mystics alike. Every sacred mountain, every temple spire, every tree of life was seen as an expression of this vertical line. It tells us that there is a higher order above and that we are connected to it. The horizontal line represents the earthly realm, the cycles of time, the balance of opposites, the struggles and joys of daily life. It stretches from east to west, echoing the sun's path across the sky, reminding us that we live in the dimension of duality, light and dark, male and female, gain and loss. When these 2 lines intersect, they form the cross, a living diagram of the human condition. We stand at the center, where heaven and earth meet, suspended between the spiritual and the material, the eternal and the transient. This is why so many traditions saw the cross not only as a cosmological map, but also as a mirror of the soul. Take, for example, the Egyptian Ankh. At its center, the intersection point symbolized the heart, the meeting place of divine breath and earthly form. To carry the Ankh was to declare oneself aligned with life itself, balanced between the cosmic and the human. Or consider the Christian cross in its mystical interpretation. Beyond the narrative of crucifixion, esoteric Christians saw the cross as an inner process. The vertical line was the descent of divine spirit into flesh, while the horizontal line was the suffering and trials of mortal existence. The meeting point symbolized the awakening of Christ consciousness within the human heart. The crucifixion itself was not just an external event, but an allegory of the soul's transformation through suffering into light. Even the Native American medicine wheel follows this principle. Its 4 directions form a cross at the center, where the shaman stands to access wisdom from all realms. The cross here is not an object of worship, but a tool of navigation, both spiritual and practical. On a deeper level, the cross is also a symbol of sacred geometry. The intersection of two lines creates four quadrants, echoing the sacred number four. Four elements, four seasons, four directions, four phases of the moon. The cross is therefore the pattern of order in the universe, the blueprint upon which life organizes itself. But here lies the hidden secret. The cross is not static. When put into motion, it becomes a spiral, a wheel, a cycle. The stationary cross is the potential. The moving cross is creation itself. This is why in Hinduism and Buddhism, the swastika, a rotating cross, was revered as the symbol of life's eternal cycles. Thus, the cross contains within it the paradox of stillness and movement, suffering and transcendence, death and rebirth. It is a paradox we must embrace to awaken. If Part 1 revealed the cross as a universal diagram of balance, Part 2 must take us deeper, into the mystical and hidden dimensions that are often overlooked. Here, the cross is not just a shape, but an initiation, a portal, a doorway through which the seeker must pass. Consider first the esoteric Christian tradition. To the ordinary believer, the cross is a symbol of sacrifice and redemption. But to mystics, it represents the alchemical crucible of transformation. The horizontal beam is matter, the realm of limitation and suffering. The vertical beam is spirit, descending into form. Where they intersect, the heart, is where resurrection occurs, not only for Christ, but for every awakened soul. This is why early Gnostic texts describe the cross not as wood, but as a tree of light upon which the soul ascends. In Celtic spirituality, the cross was often encircled with a ring, the Celtic Cross. That circle was not ornamental. It symbolized the eternal cycle, the wheel of the sun, the unbroken wholeness of creation. The cross within the circle united linear and cyclical time, reminding initiates that while we live in cycles, the soul can step beyond them into timelessness. In Eastern traditions, the cross appears in subtler forms. In Taoist cosmology, the vertical and horizontal lines mirror the interaction of yin and yang, heaven and earth, passive and active, darkness and light. Their intersection is the Tao, the path of harmony. In Buddhist mandalas, the fourfold cross often marks the gateways to enlightenment, each arm representing a direction through which one must journey inward to reach the sacred center. In alchemical manuscripts, the cross takes on another layer of meaning. The square, the most stable geometric form, emerges from the cross. Four equal arms imply the four elements: earth, air, fire, water. Alchemists taught that the cross was a symbol of the philosopher's stone in its hidden state. Matter crucified until it reveals spirit. To draw the cross was to map the process of inner transmutation. But the cross is not only personal, it is cosmic. Across the Americas, the Maya and Aztecs carved crosses into their temples as solar diagrams. The cross marked the four cardinal directions and the sacred center, where the world tree grew. For them, the cross was a cosmic map. Its center was the axis that held heaven, earth, and the underworld together. The entire universe was imagined as a great cross-shaped structure, sustained by the balance of forces. What is remarkable is that all these interpretations converge on one truth. The cross is a symbol of union, union of spirit and matter, union of cycles and eternity, union of opposites within the human soul. This union is not abstract, it is the very essence of transformation. Yet, there is a hidden danger here. To cross the threshold of transformation, one must face trial. The cross is also a symbol of suffering because it represents the tension between forces. To be crucified is not only a physical ordeal, it is the inner process of surrendering the ego,
allowing the soul to awaken. This is why mystics across cultures spoke of carrying the cross. It was never about carrying wood. It was about carrying the weight of one's own transformation. Thus, the hidden meaning of the cross is not merely to look at it, but to live it, to stand at the intersection of heaven and earth, to endure the tension of opposites, and to awaken in the center, the point of stillness where the eternal speaks.
All the ancient wisdom about the cross would remain abstract if we could not live it. Symbols are not meant only to be studied, they are maps, guiding us toward direct experience. The cross, then, is not a relic of forgotten cultures, but a living practice. To carry the cross is to embody its wisdom in everyday life. Let us explore how. 1. Meditation on the cross as alignment. Sit quietly and visualize a vertical line running from above your head to below your feet. This is the cosmic axis, your link to the infinite. Then imagine a horizontal line across your heart, extending from left to right. Feel the intersection at the center of your chest. Breathe deeply into this point. This is the place where heaven and earth meet inside you. With practice, this meditation can bring balance in times of chaos, grounding you while opening you to higher inspiration. The cross and daily balance. The cross also teaches us to balance opposites. Ask yourself each day, where am I leaning too far into one polarity? Perhaps too much work and too little rest, too much speaking and too little listening, too much giving and not enough receiving. By returning to the center of the cross, you can restore harmony. The fourfold path. Remember that the cross creates 4 directions. Many traditions taught that true growth requires walking all 4 paths. The path of the body, health, discipline. The path of the mind, study, clarity. The path of the heart, love, compassion. The path of spirit, meditation, prayer. A daily practice that touches all 4 aspects, exercise, reflection, kindness, and stillness, aligns you with the cross's wisdom. Facing the inner crucifixion. There will be moments when life places you on the cross of suffering, betrayal, loss, failure, or illness. In those moments, remember that the cross is not punishment, but transformation. Ask, what must die in me so that something greater may live? This shift in perspective allows you to endure trials not with despair, but with sacred purpose. Sacred gesture practice. In some mystical traditions, simply tracing the cross upon the body, forehead to heart, left shoulder to right shoulder, was considered an act of invoking balance. Beyond ritual, this gesture can be a daily reminder. I connect spirit, head, with heart, and I bring balance to the opposites, left and right. Try it before meditation or whenever you need to recenter. The cross as compass in relationships. Whenever conflict arises with others, visualize the cross. The vertical line represents higher truth, while the horizontal line represents human differences. At the intersection, the heart, ask, what truth can bring us back to unity? This practice transforms conflict into opportunity for deeper connection. Journaling with the cross. Draw a simple cross on paper, dividing it into 4 quadrants. At the top, write spirit. At the bottom, body. On the left, past. On the right, future. Then write what each means for you today. What spiritual insights are guiding you? What physical challenges or strengths do you feel? What lessons from the past still weigh on you? What hopes do you carry for the future? This simple exercise reveals patterns you may not see otherwise. In every case, the cross reminds us we live at the meeting point of many forces, but the center, the still point, is always within us. By practicing alignment, balance, and awareness of opposites, the wisdom of the cross becomes not just an ancient teaching, but a living reality in your everyday life. Across continents, across centuries, across the vast ocean of human experience, the cross has whispered the same truth in countless tongues, that we are beings suspended between heaven and earth, born to suffer and yet born to transcend. From the caves of prehistory to the temples of Egypt, from the cosmic wheels of the Americas to the mystical visions of Christian saints, the cross has served as a universal mirror. It shows us that life is not random. It is structured, ordered, woven by invisible threads of balance and polarity. The vertical and horizontal are not just lines on a page. They are the blueprint of existence itself. The ancients carved the cross not to remind us of death, but to point us toward awakening. It is the still center of the storm, the bridge between opposites, the compass that guides us through chaos. To live the cross is to accept the tension of life's contradictions and to allow them to shape us into something greater. Every trial, every loss, every burden you carry, these are your crucifixions. But within them lies the possibility of resurrection, of renewal, of stepping into a higher version of yourself. The cross does not demand despair. It demands courage. It asks you to stand at the center of your being, to align with the eternal, and to live as the union of heaven and earth. So the next time you see a cross, whether on a church steeple, in a book, or even in the meeting of two roads, remember, you are looking at more than a symbol. You are looking at the ancient key to life's greatest mystery, and that key has always been within you. If this revelation has stirred something in you, let it be the beginning of your own journey. Reflect, meditate, practice, and above all, live at the center. For it is there, at the heart of the cross, that you will find the eternal truth. Now, I leave you with a question. What cross are you carrying right now? And how might it be shaping you into who you are meant to become? If this message found meaningful, I invite you to join our growing circle of seekers. Subscribe, share your reflections in the comments, and together we will continue uncovering the hidden wisdom of the ancients.